Hi everyone.
Oh,
Hello. This is my wife Beth,
and my husband, Edmundo,
and
and we're both students in the WebYeshiva Halachic Mastery course, and also Edmundo is busy doing the Sofer Stam course, which is
yeah,
really great. And we've been on WebYeshiva for many years.
many years already. So we have been able to attend courses by Rabbi Bobrin there with Rabbi Fink. So we have been able to go to several courses. So and all those courses have given us an incredibly good opportunity to learn a lot about not just ourselves, but also to enhance our knowledge on a lot of topics like our lives, how to take care of our kitchen, how to take care of our Shabbat in a better way, right? Because we've been keeping Shabbat for a while, but there's always space for improvement.
Right? And also learning fundamental principles that we can put to work to address new questions that may arise in our lives instead of just relying on our experience in doing things the same way that we've always done them before.
Right. So, with anything else to do, so why don't you just start? There are several questions that we want to address today.
Right. So, firstly, there is a Mishnah in Avot which talks about the three crowns. There's the Keter Torah, the crown of Torah, Keter Kohuna, the crown of priesthood, and Keter Malchut. And then it says that's the crown of kingship. And then it says Keter Shem Tov is the supreme one. So, the obvious question is why does it say there are three crowns? And then it goes along to list a fourth one. That is very, very strange. There is a correspondence also between these three crowns and utensils in the Beit HaMikdash, which had decorative crowns. It was like a ridge that ran around the utensils. There was the shulchan, the table on which the showbread were placed, and also the inner altar, the mizbeach, and also the cover of the Aron Kodesh. And these correspond to the different crowns. The shulchan corresponds to malchut, to kingship. The altar corresponds to kahuna,
Mm-hmm.
which is because the kohanim were making offerings on the altar. And the Aron corresponds to Torah because the Torah was placed inside the altar. So, where is the fourth crown? More about that later. The next idea that I would like to present is a portion of the Talmud in Masechet Yoma, Daf Lamed Hey Amud Beit, where it talks about three people coming for judgment at the end of their lives and being asked, why did you place a lot of effort on learning Torah? The first person is poor, and they say to him, did you really work hard in studying Torah? And he said, no, well, I'm poor, I can't. And they said to him, well, were you as poor as Hillel Hazaken? Were you really as poor as Hillel? The story goes about Hillel that he used to earn enough in one day to pay half of what he earns to the study hall to gain admittance, and the other half to support his family. And one day he wasn't able to come into the study hall. He didn't have enough money. And so he climbed the roof and he sat above the skylight and so that he could listen. And in the morning, it was Shabbat, in the morning they suddenly realized that they weren't seeing much light through the skylight, and they found him there, straddled over the skylight and covered in snow. The second man comes to the heavenly court for judgment, and they say, did you really engage in Torah? And he said, well, I was too wealthy, I was too concerned with my possessions. And they said, well, were you really as wealthy as Rabbi Elazar ben Charsum? He was incredibly, extraordinarily wealthy, and there are many stories about his wealth and how he conducted himself. The third man came and he said, well, I'm just a Rasha, I'm wicked. They said, well, Yosef was incredibly good looking, and he was placed in a situation in Mitzrayim where Potiphar's wife was really trying very hard to seduce him, and the Gemara goes into the efforts that she made, and he still resisted it. So I'm sorry, but your evil inclination is no excuse not to study Torah. So, in essence, these three people really obligate every single one of us to work very, very hard in Torah, studying Torah, and in doing mitzvot, no matter what our conditions may be and no matter what challenges we accept.
So it'll give us a very interesting view on different situations, different positions in which you can think, what can I do when I'm in my position? Am I in a privileged position? Am I in a difficult position? You know, there are people who have all the things resolved. There are people who are struggling all the way, and we just learn about different situations in which people can come and say, "Wow, I mean, it's not something that you can do every single day." It's something very interesting because it's about fulfilling a mitzvah, and the mitzvah is not just the small things that we do every single day. It's an interesting mitzvah when you put yourself into studying some more Torah. At some point, we were trying to have a better and a more deeper understanding and more study and more Torah. And so we committed ourselves to come here to study at WebYeshiva.org and to select our courses and to put ourselves into a more deeper understanding of what we were doing. And that brings me back into what we're doing today, as it is Chanuka. You know, in Chanuka we're celebrating 8 nights of miracles. And one of the questions that we were discussing when we were talking about this is, during Hanukkah, we say Hallel. Why do we say Hallel every single day and night of Hanukkah? It's like if every single day brought its own holiness. And it's very interesting because, as a matter of fact, every single day brought its holiness. Because this is the one of the holidays, is one of the high festivities that is regarded as a rabbinic one. But we, during these times, became more holy than any other time, because in these times we fought to regain back our identity. You know, the Greeks were saying, we will accept you, we will take you with us if you accept our ways. And the Maccabi said, you know what? No. We are not going to be like the rest of the world. We're going to be better. We're going to regain our right to live our life as Jews. And we're going to make it happen. So they made it happen. They made it happen, and every single day that passed after they regained control of the Beth HaMikdash is a miracle in itself, because we were just expecting for that to happen, you know, the whole service and everything that you just said. Every single thing for just one day, and every single day extra that passed was another opportunity to become more holy. So it's a beauty in itself. So that's why we say Hallel in every single day, because every single day that we spend during Hanukkah, it's another opportunity to become better, to raise above what we were doing. Right?
Absolutely.
It's like lighting, you know, remembering the menorah of the Beth HaMikdash.
Right, absolutely. So moving back to what we were talking about the utensils in the Beit HaMikdash with their crowns. So where is the fourth crown? The crown that is supreme above all of them. Which utensil carries the Keter Shem Tov? The menorah. And why is this so amazing? The menorah didn't literally have a crown in the same way that the other utensils did. The crown can be found in the flames. So rather than being limited to the physical crown of the actual way that the utensil was made, the menorah's crown is all-encompassing and all-embracing. It's contained in the flames, which are reaching upwards all the time. And this is what Keter Shem Tov represents. Keter Shem Tov represents the ability to rise above every obstacle in the way, just as those 3 tzaddikim that we were speaking about rose above everything, just as the Hashmonaim rose above it.
Right.
And this is really interesting, because when we talk about Shem, the name, those 2 letters appear everywhere in Chanuka. we talk about Shmonat Yemei Chanuka, the 8 days of Hanukkah. We talk about Shemen, the oil that we light. We talk about the Chashmonaim. Everywhere, we're talking about Shem. And that idea of a Shem Tov is about rising above everything else. And we think that this is also applicable to Web Yeshiva as well.
Exactly. So how do we believe about that? How do we believe about the Web Yeshiva? How do we believe? Because there is one beautiful post that Rabbi Sachs just sent, I believe, during these past days regarding Hanukkah. And he said, never believe that a handful of dedicated people can't change the world. Inspired by faith, they can. The Maccabees did then, so we can today. So we can change the world.
Beautiful.
Just by studying, just by becoming better, just by dealing and dwelling more into our heritage. Because when you study Torah, it's not just for religious people. It's for your sake. It's for the thirst of knowledge. And then you will have a better life. You will enjoy a better life. You have a more meaningful life. And then everything will start to make sense. I mean, at least it did for me at some point.
For all of us, absolutely.
For all of us.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much what we want to say to you. I'm very thankful for having all of you and joining us in this small window to our lives. And please support WebYeshiva.org in one of the following ways. Please either join us for a course, This Newsman, we start in January, at WebYeshiva.org. Tell all your friends, please, you feel free to share this. And like us on Facebook.com/WebYeshiva. And show your support by making a donation at WebYeshiva.org support. But of course, it's not just a donation of your time, it's not just a donation of the money, it's a donation of you to make this keep happening. You have no idea where people will be needing for a moment of study. Either they don't have time because they're working, because they're far away, because their conditions do not allow them to study. And Web Yeshiva gives precisely that opportunity.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much. Chanukah Sameach.
Chanukah Sameach. Thank you for joining us.